giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you.
Folks, happy Friday. Even if you're watching this probably on a Wednesday or a Sunday, happy Friday nonetheless. Today I am bringing you guys another cozy, chill, day in the life vlog. So I hope you enjoy it because you've been enjoying the most recent ones. If you are new to the channel, however, my name is Kelly. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Scottish, but these days I live in lovely North Italy. And here on the channel we film vlogs, recipe videos, food challenge videos. We make desserts from all over the world, and we also have lots of lovely chocolate reviews. So if you fancy sticking around, you're welcome to do so. So I'm filming this on a Friday. I have a couple of potentially exciting little life updates. Today we are up and about and I have some shopping to do. You guys have asked for a kind of shopping haul video thing before, so we'll do a little kind of mini one today and I can talk you through the kind of stuff we normally have in the fridge and in the cupboards. And I think I might even, for the first time in a long time, be getting some Mexican food for dinner. I think. We'll see. But I'm excited at the thought anyway. But we have started off today in the right way. The sky is beautifully blue, even if it is still only about 2 degrees Celsius outside. It is cold. But it's the last kind of few weeks of winter, so I don't mind it too much. And when the sky is blue, girl, the difference it makes is unbelievable. We started off with some coffee this morning, as always, and some beautiful frittelle. You've probably heard me talk about this already because 'tis the season here in Italy for carnival, the kind of pre-Lenten celebrations of all things delicious. Typically, the kind of things that will be eaten are these kind of fried pastry things called crostoli, chiacchiere, bugie, whatever they're called in whatever part of the country you are from. And frittelle are basically these little kind of fried lumps of dough that are either kind of sugared and eaten plain, depending on, again, the region you're in, or they are filled with a kind of flavored cream, and they are everywhere at this time of year. Every pasticceria, every bar, even some gelato shops have them just because people want them, and they're, even when they're not the best, they're still good, you know. I was in Venice yesterday for reasons I'll tell you about later, and I picked up like 10 to take home with me. So this morning I had one stuffed with pistachio cream and one that was kind of tiramisu style with a mascarpone cream and cocoa and coffee. Beautiful. But after such a wonderful breakfast, it's about time I go out and get some fresh air, stretch my leggies, and go do some shopping. So we're going to be going to a kind of bigger supermarket today. Occasionally we do shop for things like cheese or for bread at a kind of local market that comes here a couple of times a week. And typically the bread is always better from, for example, the bakery. But at the moment we have lots of cheese in the fridge and I don't need any bread today. Also, I don't need any meat, so I won't be going to kind of the butcher that we have nearby as well. It's going to be a little bit of a just kind of classic supermarket fridge and cupboard restock. Plus, I also need some Brita filters and other slightly unexciting things like that, but let's go. We are back. We are done. If the thought of someone else's shopping bores you to death, feel free to skip this part. I will have little kind of chapters, timestamp things on the video. But for those of you who are interested in Italian food, in home cooking, in the cost of living crisis, let's take a look. In terms of fresh fruit and veg, I got, I think 6 bananas, just, you know, bananas, the cheapest kind there, because honestly, I never really taste the difference. I got 2 of these beautiful, enormous, wonky peppers, one in yellow and one in red. These I think will probably, you know, that's a 3-person pepper, you know what I mean? So these will be good for cooking for lunch boxes or for sides or whatever. For the same reason, I also got 3 zucchine, 3 courgettes in English. Again, just good to have on hand, always affordable and grown in Italy, so why not? I got some savoiardi because I plan, and it matches my nails. I got some savoiardi because I plan to make tiramisu this week for a Dessert of the World video. I do kind of hate that they never come in smaller packages, but you know, half a kilo of these is fine. I got some coffee because we are out, as you can see in that jar over there. So Again, I'm never particularly fussy with my coffee. I probably should be because I'm so fussy with my, dark chocolate and things like that. But honestly, that early in the morning, I'm fine with just a fairly standard supermarket brand. Speaking of chocolate, this is more for Francesco than for me, but it's always nice to have just a kind of sweet, basic supermarket milk chocolate to snack on when you want something sweet. Eggs in possibly the ugliest packaging I've ever seen, but I needed more than 6, so, I have them for the tiramisu, for lunches, whatever. Some frozen spinach. Occasionally I do buy the fresh stuff, more likely in the summer or in the spring when it's more kind of salad season. But these are little like cubes of just cooked spinach, no oil, anything else like that. And this is really good for just throwing into soups, into pastas, into stews, whatever. And it doesn't go off. There's less waste because it's frozen. You can just take 1 or 2 cubes and just... You can even use it as a side if you wanted to. Some garlic and lemon, very nice. Got some tofu. We used to eat this all the time in the UK, but it's a little bit more expensive and a little less common here. But this with rice, this with noodles, this just kind of seasoned and crisped up in a frying pan, delish. I got some couscous because this whole container was €1 for a kilo. It's so handy to have, and it's really good for using very little energy. You don't actually really need to cook it. You just need to boil some water, pour it over the top, and leave it for 5 minutes, and you have a side, faster and easier than pasta and rice. I love. Some tuna of fairly decent quality. It's one of these things that I do like to spend a little bit more on because I do think you taste a difference, and just because, we're destroying the oceans enough. I bought some mascarpone in this enormous container for making the tiramisu, and just because it's delicious. This intrigued me. I'll be honest, this brand, Noah, I'm guessing, vegetable pleasure or plant-based pleasure sounds a lot better in Italian than it does in English. I bought a kind of herby hummus from this brand either last week or the week before, and I'll be honest, I really did not like it. I don't know if it was the kind of herb or if there wasn't enough lemon in there. I just really was not a big fan. But this kind of chickpea, tomato and basil hummus looks really good. It's a lovely colour, and I plan to eat it with these things. These tocchetti di focaccia are basically like tiny, wonky, broken cracker pieces that they sell for like €1. And I think it will be delicious with the hummus, or just for snacks with cheese and anything with olive oil in it. I'm there. I got a couple of bottles of kefir. This is something personally I have been drinking regularly for about 3 or 4 years. I occasionally have some digestive issues, as all hot girls do. And kefir and natural yogurt are just a couple of great things that really help. And they're pretty decent for overall well-being as well. And here they have some really funky flavors. Occasionally I'll buy the plain one, but I've been really into this one recently. Francesco's also started drinking it since about the start of the year as well. This is orange, ginger and cardamom flavor. Really fancy, not too sweet, and just makes drinking fermented milk a lot more pleasurable. And I also got this pomegranate and raspberry version for him, but I may steal a couple of sips of it as well. Oat milk has to be done. I'm Scottish and I like oat milk, so double reasons for doing so. Normally I'll buy Alpro, but recently I started buying from this Ora Si brand because they're an Italian brand and I think it tastes better, honestly. I miss Oatly, but it's not very easy to find here in Italy, so this will do. And finally, something that is ever present in my kitchen, some sugar. Now this looks kind of fancy. That's mostly because it's not very common to find caster sugar or fine sugar here. It's more common to find the granulated stuff, but it's worth the extra few pennies. And all in all, oh, and some butter. Sorry, I forgot about the butter. Just a small package, standard butter, Italian milk. All in all, this was €61.04. Definitely not the kind of cheapest option available, but also not too terrible for a whole table full of food and cleaning products and things. That was what I would call a kind of mid-range supermarket shop. We do have more budget supermarkets, for example, Lidl nearby. Lidl is good, but it doesn't have so many kind of products made in Italy. It also doesn't always have everything I want. And though I love, and other Europeans in the comments, let me know if you feel similarly, but I love Aldi. I love an Aldi, But Lidl and I are just kind of, you know, sometimes for some things, great. The bakery, fantastic. But Lidl in general, you know, it doesn't excite me. Whereas this particular supermarket is good for Italian products, local products, and it's got a bit more of everything. Because to me, if you're making the journey to go to a supermarket rather than the butcher, the baker, the fruttivendolo, whatever, I want to be able to find everything, you know? So I like this place.
Well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you got me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh.
Okay, my loves, I promised you an update, so here we are. As I mentioned kind of at the start of today's little vlog, I went to Venice yesterday. And though I do like to go to Venice just for fun most of the time, hang on, milk. Much better. So though most of my time spent in Venice is just for fun, more recently it's also been for the purpose of job hunting. If you want a kind of full background on the job hunting, I did a kind of more in-depth chat about this in the last couple of vlogs, especially the one that I believe is actually titled Job Hunting Vlog. So if you haven't watched those already, do feel free to go back and do so. I had an interview in Venice yesterday that went quite well. It seemed to be, on the surface of it, one of those interviews that is done more just a way of measuring whether the person can show up on time and seem presentable more than a kind of interview, so to speak. It was very, you know, very rapid, very, here's the information you need to know, give me the information I need to know, let's do it. It's coming up for tourist season in Venice at the moment. As I'm filming this, it's about the kind of middle of February, and this is typically around the season when shops, restaurants, gelaterias, pasticcerias, and all of the things that cater wonderfully to people from all over the world start really ramping up business, production, services, whatever it is, for tourists that flood into the city, mostly between kind of February and October, February, November. It's related to one of my favorite things. That's all I'll give away for now. One of my passions and one of my favorite things about this country. So I have a couple of trial shifts next week. So we'll see how those go. Both, you know, a trial for me to see if it's work that I like, and a trial for them to see if I'm going to be, you know, any any semblance of valuable in this role. But it's definitely within my skill set. It's definitely something I'm passionate about. It's something I'm excited to do with a young team of people, and also a young team of mostly women around. So very inspiring, you know. I'm quite excited about it, a little bit nervous. It's also the first time I've ever done a job interview in a language that wasn't the one I was born speaking. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but more exciting than anything, because it's new things to learn, it's new things to try. It's a new city in certain terms, and probably one of the most exciting and unique cities to work in, certainly in Europe, let alone on the planet. So I'm really, really hoping that it goes well. Yeah. It's been a good week. It's a week in which I've been pushing my personal envelope a little bit, and I hope to do so even more next week, because not just for the type of work, but the thought of working in Venice and being like a functioning member of society here generally is very exciting. But the thought of working in Venice in the tourist season in the summer is so like actually mad. Certainly a change that if you'd asked me 2 or 3 years ago is not one I would have expected, but would have been incredibly happy and accepting to have heard. So that's where we are. Also, somewhat exciting this evening, there is a kind of Tex Mex food truck that travels around the area that we live in, which is going to be parked up not too far away from where I live this evening. So I'm thinking about going and getting myself a burrito this evening and seeing what Italian Tex Mex food is.
I miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh, oh, baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.